Okay, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Hello. How are you?
We'll call the meeting to order. Tiffany, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Garvey. Present. Councilman Brennan.
Present.
Councilman Bundy.
Present.
Councilman Green.
Present.
Mayor Sykes.
Present. Let the record reflect we do have a quorum. We'll run down to department head comments really quick.
What, Mayor? We need to amend the agenda tonight to add make it an action item on the presentation by Imagine Ventures regarding the tax abatement, please.
Reason being?
We had it at 4 o'clock, but it wasn't an action item. And so I said it's simple enough at the main city council meeting to make it an action item thing to approve, to write the letter.
So it's a change for the action item because it wasn't on the previous council agenda.
Yeah, 4
Okay,
p.m.
so is it an emergency or is it?
It's honestly, it's just a housekeeping.
Housekeeping?
It was already approved. However, to have it be an action item at the, when you're not approved, it's okay.
Okay, you're the lawyer.
It's just a policy
Okay.
letter.
Okay, council, there was, any issues with putting it on there, action item?
Not from me.
Councilman Brennan?
I'm gonna object from it, just personally, because I wasn't at the meeting, I wasn't able to make the meeting, I made it clear I wasn't able to make that meeting and it proceeded, so I haven't even been able to review the audio. Any kind of recordings, I'd like to see it wait a little bit.
Okay, so I've got, one objection, one for, council, what's your, do we have to motion on that, since it's adding?
It's a motion to amend the agendas.
Okay, so there's a motion to amend it, do I hear a second?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman Bundy?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Councilman Green?
If we delay this, how much time would you want to take a look at it, Daniel? Councilman Brennan?
Just some, Tiffany, how long till I can review all the recordings and minutes?
Probably staff can pull the audio later today or tomorrow. It was a half hour, so it shouldn't take you very long to listen to it, but
Okay.
by end of day tomorrow, I would say you could have access.
I could, anytime Friday or after.
But we don't meet again until July 11th, so.
So you want to do a quick one on Friday?
Is there any other way around it, other than a special meeting?
Other than regular meeting?
Well, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that it probably doesn't matter, so, go ahead.
Okay,
Oh,
Councilman Bundy?
it does matter if you feel comfortable with the information. I think, I don't want you to feel like you've been,
I just won't vote on it. I'll recuse myself from it, if you guys are ready to proceed.
Councilman McGarvey, where do you want to stick that one in? Is that new business or is it
Yeah, under new business.
new business? I'll stick it as number 6.
Yes.
6. That
And I
one.
apologize, I'm the one that kicked it to the
Imagine
regular
Ventures.
meeting just because it didn't have, on the 4 o'clock meeting, as it being an action.
Okay, hang on one second.
Mind you, Tiffany brought it up.
Legal, excuse me, Mayor.
Councilwoman McGarvey?
Legal, can we do an approval with all of us over an email versus a special meeting? So that he has time to review everything? That's what I think, so that way it doesn't have to be an actual special meeting.
So if you're going to approve it as a, okay, there's 2 answers to that. And the answer I'm going to recommend to you is no.
Okay.
However, just so you know, all they're asking for is a policy letter, from the city saying, like, we're not deciding anything.
Correct.
So to the extent that it's quote action, it's not a decision.
Right.
It's just saying, yeah, we're okay with what you guys want to do. And so it's not really an action item. However, to the extent that you would approve it as a body, you as a body can only approve it in a city council meeting, unnoticed
Okay.
meeting. So that's why I'm.
Yeah.
The short answer is there's no harm, no foul if you did it as an email. However, it would, arguably violate the open meetings law.
Right.
Okay, so Councilman Bundy, did you want to make a second, or James, or so there's a motion to add Imagine Ventures Regulation Tax Abatement Policy Letter to new business on item 6. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing now, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Abstain.
Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
All righty. Really quick too, before we get into department heads, I want to apologize to citizens. I am definitely not dressed how I should be. I've been traveling all day, and it definitely, I don't want you to hold that against me, but I do believe that this position calls for a certain attire, so I want to apologize up front. So with that, we'll go into department head comments and reports. Chief Moore.
Mayor, Council, just right out of the gate, I want to advise you of the burn ban that is going to be taking effect. It came up rather quick, as was predicted with our weather changes coming up. We're going to put a burn ban in effect, open burn ban, and that'll take effect on July 3rd. So people have through this weekend to take care of their stuff, and other than that, we'll be in a burn ban. We burned 233 acres in that lightning storm the other day within 3 hours, so it's definitely dry and it's out there and it warrants a burn ban. As I mentioned at the last council meeting, with the 4th of July coming up, we've got access with the city website and also on the fire department webpage, a means of educating people in terms of safe and sane fireworks versus the dangerous fireworks. Hopefully people take advantage of that, familiarize themselves with that is any fireworks you can buy here in town at these local stores that'll open tomorrow are safe and sane fireworks. So we'll go through those and make sure that's what they agree to do when they come to town and sell fireworks, safe and sane here in town. So keep that in mind. Our fireworks, everything is looking good for that thing, so we're looking forward to a good show this year at the golf course. It started dusk, that works to be about 10:40 in the evening. And the last thing that I have is just to bring you up to date on our choir instructor that we had on South 3rd this month for training. That was really productive. We've got some good entries into that thing and got it successfully burnt down to the ground without causing any damage around. So that was a win. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Fantastic. Ran into one of your firemen that first interior attack, and he thought it was pretty awesome, but I guess his heartbeat was a little elevated, so that was pretty funny. But he said it was great training, so that's good to hear. Buck.
First start off with some good news. The Bell's building, which is now known as the 295 Town Square building, that was the building that the URA had acquired and did a proposal to a developer. That building won an award in Boise, a Building Excellence Award for excellence in urban renewal. Very fantastic space. If you haven't ever been in it, I encourage all of you to go in there. It's open more often than you think. Also on August 2nd, thanks to the diligent efforts of Betsy Hiddleston, we're going to have a pretty awesome ribbon cutting for that building where Governor Brad Little will be in attendance. This kind of falls into his Idaho impact program when it comes to alternative training for kids, trade schools, which this definitely is, and it's also a really good illustration of urban renewal and what it can do for community. My next item is that I have submitted my resignation as Community Development Director for the City of Mount Home effective July 21st at 5 p.m. To Mayor Sykes and also to Tiffany. There's another opportunity that awaits me and my family. It was a hard decision to make. I have enjoyed and loved serving the citizens of Mountain Home and being part of the great team here at the city. And I am committed to help ensure that there is a smooth transition and it can be as smooth as possible.
Hank.
We are at 46 new single families for the year. We had 8 this month in June. We've got quite a stack of them in the office. Right now we're getting a lot of complaints about weeds in general, but thistles especially.
Gene.
we've been out street patching, sweepers running, painters painting, so. About the second week of July is when we should be seeing some more construction going on with West Fifth North project, the street project, get some curb and gutters and stuff like that in there. Right now, each party's just kind of finished up what they can get done. We're waiting on some more stuff from the village right there. The other project that's going on, the other water project that's going on right there on 14th Street, 6th Street, over by the school area, that's kind of making some progress. They got laid out, and they've been doing some grading and stuff on 14th, so a lot of stuff going in the ground there, a lot of storm drain pipe, water lines. Just be patient as you can be. I've had a lot of complaints about the signs and stuff that have been in there where they're moving them around. I believe they're ahead of schedule. It's just been some funky areas right there on 10th and South Main where they come together and along that track area on 12th Street crossing. So just be patient. A lot of construction going on here, overpasses, about everywhere you go.
Thanks, Gene. Chief Thompson?
Mayor, council, busy training month for us at the PD. We spent the first couple of weeks, our officers went through the firearm simulator machine at CSI, our officers spent several hours at the house. Got a lot of repetitions in. This week we're doing our active shooter recertification. We're about halfway through. 2 of our crews have gone through. We've got 2 more scheduled for tomorrow and Thursday. The school district has been a huge help with us in allowing us to access North Elementary for that, but it's really getting trying to actually get the building. Speaking of training, we're in the midst of quite a few new hires. We've got 3 new hires starting at the animal shelter, 1 full-timer, 2 part-timers. And we made additional offers to 4 new potential officers last week. 2 are academy graduates, and as a result, for the time to be starting FTO here, hopefully by the end of next month. 2 others will have to go to the academy, but we're looking a little better with staff now.
Cover that. Library. Go ahead. Yes.
With the library, and we're super excited to announce that we have almost reached our 600 registered kids for our summer reading program with 588 kids. So far, they have read over 5,800 books and have read over 1,800 hours for the summer reading program, which is absolutely amazing. We're very excited for them. We also have summer STEM going on at the farmers market starting this Saturday. We'll go through every Saturday in July. That was with a grant from the Idaho STEM Action Center, the Idaho Commission for the Library, and the Institute of Museum and Library Science. We're also going to have the Mountain Home City Youth Council. They are supporting us and doing our STEM activities for us. So we'll have free book giveaways and other information about how to join the Mountain Home City Youth Council and information about the library. And last thing, I just wanted to announce that we had over 20 performers for last Saturday's open mic night, which is incredible. We had everything from bagpipes to tuba players to guitar soloists to bands to essay readers to poetry and comedy, and it was absolutely amazing. We're going to take a break in July to not compete with Concerts in the Park, but we'll be back in August for more open mic nights. So if you haven't been out to check those out, please do. We have a very talented community.
Thank you. Bet.
Well, I think Brock told you the coolest thing on my list is that the governor will be here for that ribbon cutting. I'm working on the invite and press release now, so you guys will get those in your inbox though, along with calendar invites in the next week or so. We are also working on a groundbreaking for Falcons Landing with Leap Housing. They are hoping to break ground. We've kind of gone back and forth on meetings. I think our final time frame is going to be 2nd to 3rd week of August. Again, once we nail that down, you guys will get a personal invite for that groundbreaking for Leap Housing's Falcons Landing. We've got, as Chief mentioned, we've got the 4th of July celebrations coming up. 104.3 will be back down again this year with their tent, and they're bringing more speakers this year, so you should be able to hear them throughout the entire golf course, as well as speeches as well. They do some promotional advertising for us throughout the next week leading into it. They actually started advertising for us yesterday. So every once in a while you'll hear a little shout out for us on 104.3, and that's kind of always good to hear. Along with July 4th, I'm sure you guys all have in your calendars for the Community Canvas reveal. They will be revealing their additional paintings, but what's exciting this year is they actually are going to also be revealing a website. Their website is still in construction, but they've got a tentative plan to have it ready and open for the public on July 1st, or July 4th. And we will link that on our website too as an easy, accessible. We'll put it kind of in a front page news, and then eventually it'll go to additional, I think we have a nonprofit organizations tab. So they'll go under that. And that's really exciting. They'll have all of their murals on there and meet all the artists and get to know a little bit about everyone with Community Canvas. That's kind of all I got.
Deb?
Mayor Council, I don't have anything.
Paul?
Nothing new.
All right, Paul, you got anything?
Nope.
All right. Council, got anything for really quick?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman Bundy?
So this last Saturday, if any of you, the library does a lot of great things. We were chatting about it before. They had a historian come in and do a presentation for anybody that wanted to go about the year 1876 and the three major events, right? Battle of Little Bighorn, the country centennial, and the ever popular presidential election of 1876. So if you want to go have a 90-minute fun historical experience, every month?
We try to get one every month, but it's not always.
But-
We just have to keep an eye on our calendar.
Yeah, just watch them Saturday mornings. It's the first one I've been to, and it was a great, for those of you, we'd all have fun there, not just us. It's just, I recommend you go. It's fun. A lot of good things happen in this city.
And I forgot, council, last Tuesday, we had a young man reach out to us and say there was a lot of vandalism to the picnic benches at Carmelo Park. And then a young lady who was a friend of his had some pretty bad things said about her. He asked if he could sand the benches and paint them. I told him we would get him the supplies if someone would meet him there. That evening, my wife saw on Facebook, FB post on FB from him that he was going to be at the park the next day refinishing tables. If anybody wanted to help, he could use the help. When I got there, he had 9 people helping him. The newly refurbished or refinished tables look great. We need more young people like this young man out there. His name is Donald James Werther. So I want to send out a huge shout out because I know Miguel and his crew, they do those during the winter time, trying to sand all those, restain them, repaint them. But it's always great to hear. And this was from Dennis Pings, our recreation superintendent. It's great to see that there are young people, young youth that are willing to step up and be a part of the solution instead of always being part of the problem with, I'm not blaming all youth, but I'm sure that's where probably most of the graffiti comes from. But it was good, so I just wanted you guys to know about that. Okay, let's run down to conflicts of interest declarations. Has any council member received information pertaining to or otherwise had any contact with any persons regarding an item to the city council agenda? If so, please set forth the nature of said contact. Hearing none, we'll go down the consent agenda. Council, is there anything you want to pull, talk about, get more answers on? If not, Councilman Brennan?
I just had a question on item H. H itself, I don't have any problems with. I'm just talking about the memo that came from Richard Akiti. He said he also wants to go out to bid for the project, which is not part of the consent agenda. Does the going out for bid need a special approval?
Paul? Say that again. To go out to bid? So it wasn't in, it says H, it says approve the contract with JUB to perform construction engineering for the BLM seat-based project at the city airport and authorize mayor to sign all required documents.
JUB is already your engineer for that project, and so this is, you wouldn't have to go out. So one, it's not a bidding one, it's the
construction
67,
portion.
23,
Right.
whatever, for hiring consultants.
Yeah, no.
Services agreement.
We already have that guy.
Right.
He's talking about, Rich wanted, is Councilman Brennan said, wanted to
Show the last
put the
paragraph.
construction bidding on there as well. So the thing is it's funded by the BLM, it's just being ran through us as the, kind of the gatekeeper. right, Tiff? Correct?
Yeah, so he's requesting to go out to bid. I don't disagree with Rich on that.
Does that bid need to be like its own item or amended?
The item on the agenda doesn't specifically say bid, so they'd have to amend that to
Yes.
address the bid.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be cleaner to do it that way.
Correct.
Interlineation.
So, yeah. So another, Becky, you get to do it again. Amend it again.
Is it too late, or can we do it?
No,
in the middle?
we can do it now. It's just an oversight.
Okay.
You're not deciding on a bidder, you're just saying it should go out to bids.
So make that number 7. If
No, you
Just add it to H.
amend
just
it
add
under-
it, amend H.
Yes.
Do I have a council person, Councilman Brennan?
Yeah. I make a motion to amend item H to include the requested going out for bid for the project.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Do I hear any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Okay.
Mayor,
Councilman Green?
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the addition of the now amended H to go out to bid for the project.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan? Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Okay. We'll run down to items removed from the consent agenda. There were none. We'll run down to action item number 2, deliberation decision on Planning and Zoning Commission for recommendations of finding of facts to approve the condition of the preliminary plat for Silverstone North subdivision. Brock, or the staff, sent that to you guys via email May 30th, 2023. What do you guys want to do?
Mr. Mayor, I apologize to speak out of turn, but the applicant isn't present, and they actually have requested that this item be tabled to the next city council meeting, if this body is amenable.
So they don't want it approved or denied, they just want it tabled till next council meeting?
Yeah, when they will be able to be present to answer questions of this body.
So council, are you wanting to put it off, or are you able to vote on it tonight, or what's your thoughts?
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey?
I've had several discussions with Brock that we need to continue and find out some easement issues, and so I'm okay with tabling it. I'd like to see it tabled.
Okay. Council, rest of council? Cool? Okay. Thanks, Brock. Run down to action, or sorry, run down to action item number 3, deliberation decision on Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation and findings of facts for conditional use permit to allow for an event center located at 165 North 2nd East with conditions. Staff reported that, sent to you email on May 30th, 2023. Council, what do you guys want to do?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Bundy?
this is the facility in the old, yeah, but it's already been used on some levels. Is that we're just formalizing the process here? Is that what we're doing? Because hasn't there been some events already go in there?
Brock?
So it has been most recently used as a exercise facility. For a entertainment venue, it requires a conditional use permit.
Mhm.
So it could have been that in the past, but because there has
Okay.
been changes of that use in the winter period, it's just cleaner to assure that this goes onto it. Also during staff's review, we didn't find anything that would necessarily cause any harm to any public infrastructure if this proposal was to be approved.
All right, council, what's your thoughts? What do you guys want to do?
Yeah.
Councilman Brennan?
Make a motion to approve P&Z's recommendation and finding of fact for the event center located at 165 North 2nd East with conditions.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Run down to action item number 4, deliberation decision approving of Falcons Landing number 1 final plat. All right, council, what do you guys want to do?
I will make a motion to approve Falcon Landing number 1's final plat.
Second. Go ahead, Becky, second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Run down to item number 5, non-action item, discussion regarding non-resident user fee. Councilman Green?
Okay, so I'm bringing this up because our responsibility as a council is to our citizens, and making sure that we are fiscally responsible for them. What I've noticed is that with programming in several departments, the main ones being Parks and Rec, the library, as well as the golf course, non-residents are paying the same fees to access programming that our residents are paying. However, our residents are also paying taxes to support those departments. So in effect, residents are paying more to access these programs than non-residents. So in order to keep up with the additional maintenance on fields, materials for programs, additional staff time to process non-resident applications and registrations, I feel it's a good idea to have a non-resident user fee.
So Councilman Green, excuse me, sorry. So Councilman Green, is that something that you're going to, or do you want, do you have?
I would like to have it as a discussion item,
Okay.
going into maybe the next meeting.
Okay.
The other aspect of it is because, as we grow as a city, and as the county grows as well, there's going to be more demand on these programs. And again, while I do agree that providing these programs for the county residents is a good thing, our city residents should also have first access. So I don't know if there's a way we can put it out for residents first and then give them an extra 2 or 3 days for registration before we put it out to the non-residents. But we are responsible for our residents first and foremost.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Councilman Green, what I would like to kind of see is the actual numbers. How many actual non-residents, and when you say non-resident, you mean they don't live inside the city limits.
Correct.
They're a resident of Elmore County.
Right, I'm talking about city residents, I'm not talking about county residents.
So if we could get some actual numbers, if you could get that raw data from the parks, library, et cetera, because I do believe, doesn't the library already have a extra fee?
They do. The way their bylaw is written, it basically states that they have to charge a non-resident the same fee, or, well, they cannot charge them less than what a resident would be paying for that service. Doesn't say they can't charge them more, but it has to be at least what the value is to the resident.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey, you're fine.
may I can just continue?
Yeah,
Okay.
keep going.
What do you propose the fee be? A single-use fee, $20,
So
$5?
the way I look at it, there's 2 ways to do it. Because not every non-resident is going to access every program, right? So whether it be like an additional $5 to, let's say, I like to use soccer as an example, where residents are paying $20 or $25 to be a part of that program, non-residents would be $25. As an example, I looked at Boise's Parks and Rec page. Depending on the program, non-residents are paying $20, $30, $40. I don't think we need to go that deep into it to whether it's that much of a difference in fee, but they should be paying something. And it's hard to say, what the value of that is, because the amount that a resident is paying is based upon their property tax. So everybody pays just a little bit different. So we need to come up with an amount.
Also, what I would like to see in this data, how many other cities do this? Just compose some of kind of more actual statistics to see. My only thought is that, if a resident is a resident, and I think, we're all residents of Elmore County, and we want to make good
Right.
neighbors as well to our fellow.
Right, but we also have to be responsible for our city residents.
Yeah.
And that's who I'm being responsible for, because they're the ones paying the fees to for maintenance and parks. And, they're paying for the upkeep, they're paying for the programming. So to have a county resident who's not paying property tax to the city, and that's where the funding comes from, they need to be able to help out with that cost.
Numbers, stats, would be great. Thank you.
Councilman Bundy?
I think this is worthy of a discussion. I think there's some other things that we need to look at that may, we're a little unique. We just went into that recreation agreement with the Air Force Base, where they have opened up a lot of their resources for us to go out and use, and they would be considered non-home citizens.
Right.
So I think that's something that we need to look at. Another one we're talking about youth programs is, would an increase in fee reduce who can participate? I would hate to deny a kid the ability to play something there, maybe, I don't know. So those are all things that I would also want to look at, is I don't want this increase, which I'm not saying is right or wrong, I just, a matter of discussion, I don't want to preclude Joey or Susie or whoever from being able to play soccer or Tiger basketball or whatever it is. So those are all, I think, worthy of discussion, so.
Right.
But those would be some of the ones that I would want to look at, is how would this affect our recreation agreement with the base? And do we think it might reduce participation rates?
Right.
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan?
Tiffany, of all of our recreation programs, do you know how many of them fill up that we have to cut off the signups for? Or go into a wait list or whatever?
Dennis isn't here.
Yeah.
Okay. So most of the time in your sporting activities, you end up making a cutoff. You set a deadline, and the reason that is one, you don't have enough volunteers to coach or to conduct the program. So then basically that's how you start to kind of leverage and say, well, sorry, Dad Brennan, you're going to have to, step up and coach to play or to sign up. So that's kind of how you leverage that, or they don't sign up. Adventure camp, it's full. It's been full all summer. And the reason that one's full is, one, we don't have enough transportation to take any more registrants for that. So, but there are programs that don't fill up too. But.
Okay. I've made it well known. I like where Councilman Green's going with this, and I'd like to find a solution. I don't know exactly what that is, but I think you mentioned like two different approaches, one of which is the city residents get to sign up first. If it's not full, then it goes to the county residences, and I think I had forgotten about the deal with the Air Force Base and that program that Councilman Bundy brought up. And then I also see things like how the Department of Fish and Game does it with like draw tags for hunting and whatnot, where there's a guaranteed, like, I'm just throwing around, like 20% is guaranteed to go to out-of-state residences. If they don't buy them, then the in-state residents can buy them at the out-of-state fee, and that helps with I think that could help with our budget, is if there's a 20% set aside for non-residences, we know we're going to get that much money.
Right.
Even if a city resident were to pay that, because city resident is full.
Right.
I don't know. I think, like everybody's saying, there's a lot of options, and I'm open to it for sure. Adventure camp, the primary limiting factor is transportation, or employees too, or just.
No, specifically it's transportation. We don't have enough vans to trip them around on their day trips.
if we had another van, would we have the staff to get more kids into that program?
Oh, yeah. I believe that.
I know this isn't your specific realm anymore, but is there a solution that we can look at in our budget, whether, even if we're renting a van for the 10-week program, or
In this year's budget, I do believe they've proposed to purchase a van, an
an
additional.
additional van, without getting rid of any from the fleet?
Oh, yeah, the idea would not to be to get rid of those ones are new. So.
Okay.
And I can speak from the realm of recreation. I have not seen the numbers, but the participant numbers in regards to county residents versus city residents and the base, the city, majority of your rec programs are city residents participating in them. The numbers highly outweighs the county and the base participants. And I was asked to do that when I was in recreation. The mayor had asked me to do that. So every program, when you sign up, it specifically asks you where do you reside. So they should be able to give you those.
Okay. Thank you.
Out of that department, it should be able to.
Thank you.
Okay. Guess we'll hither and information it out.
Sure.
And get some statistics and some datas, and I'll bring it back. Going down to item number 6, the Imagine Ventures tax abatement policy letter. Councilwoman Garvey.
Legal recommended that we make this an action item because we had discussed that we are all going to be in support of it and write a letter from the city in support of the tax. It's actually not an abatement. I said abatement. The tax, what's the word? Help me out. Abatement is exemption. Yeah, thank you. I'm like, what's the word? So we just brought it to as an action item to get the letter approved with the majority of the council.
All right. Is there a motion?
Mayor?
Oh, sorry, Councilman Bennett.
What is their time restrictions for this?
3 months.
I don't know who,
Mr. Mayor,
Mayor, I can speak to, we can
Bundy.
all speak
Are
to
you
it.
talking
yeah.
about completion?
No, when, as I was, I guess, initially told, is that they needed either a letter of support or not by a certain date to go to the county.
July 21st is the commissioner meeting that will host the public hearing.
July 21st. Okay. And so why can't it be on our next regular council meeting? Is there any answer for that?
They can. I mean, there'd be time to issue a letter, I suppose.
I would like to be a part of it if I can. And I know the reason we didn't have it in a special meeting, because some don't like special meetings and extra meetings, but if at all possible, I'm still gonna ask for, if our deadline is not until July 21st, then our first July meeting, I don't have a calendar, will fall
July 11th.
before then. That'd be my request.
All right, council, is there a motion and a is there a motion for the letter?
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey.
I would be okay with waiting because you were not able to make it, until the
11th.
11th, July 11th. The two individuals that were here are very easy to be gotten in touch with, so that should hopefully give you enough time to decide which direction you want to go. And it's not a letter specifically from the council, so also, and so you can preclude yourself from that as well, if you wish, at that time. So I will make a motion that we move this item to our next agenda, July 11th.
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
what do you mean by that? It's not a letter
Wait,
from the
Mr. Mayor.
council?
Hang on 1 second. Go ahead, Council Brennan.
What did you mean by that? It's not a letter from the council?
It's just a letter from the city.
The motion
Yeah.
The motion, when it becomes a motion, will be, I hereby move to authorize the mayor and/or the city clerk on the city's behalf to execute a letter to the county expressing support for the request for a tax abatement of up to that.
Okay.
And we're not all gonna be
Exemption.
signing it, it's just
It's
a
not,
blanket,
it's not like
yeah.
a decision.
Yes, it's not.
It's just
anything.
saying, hey, you guys want to do this?
The majority of our body says.
Correct.
It's fine, go
We,
ahead.
we encourage you to apply or
That's all
whatever.
it is.
Okay.
We do not, like in legal term, it's basically like motion of non-opposition. Like I haven't filed an objection to the motion, I don't care,
Okay.
kind of thing.
Councilman Bundy.
I might have misunderstood. I thought we were going to make a motion to move it. We can just do that through unanimous consent, and we can just move it to the next meeting without a motion, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to do all of it.
I mean, now it's an action item, and so just move it to July 11th,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Oh, that's what I just did, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't have a second, I don't think.
I'm okay with moving it to the 11th.
Okay, so council, we're good there?
Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor, if I may?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't intend to talk to the applicant. I think that would be a little unfair to get more information or maybe different information. I'll simply just listen to the minutes as recorded and educate myself in that manner.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's run down to some budget presentations with civic group. So we're going to do the first one with the Historic Society.
Chris Ozola.
So we got double trouble. Triple.
We had triple trouble.
The only group that brings treats.
That's what I said.
Year after year.
So is this a healthy snack?
Sure it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Lemon shortbread. Oh.
So I noticed they're labeled. Is there a reason why they're labeled? Does mine have extra poison in it? Tiff, have a cookie.
You know, if the land use development community ever gets wind that we can be bribed with
I'm trying to win the war.
We're not bribing.
How's that going?
I just started right now.
Oh, right now.
Well, you guys can't miss Deb's cookies.
No, we cannot.
Oh, jeez. What would you recommend? This one with the chocolate at the bottom?
Sorry, they didn't let me test them yet.
All sugar-free. All sugar-free? Perfect.
Filled with fruits and vegetables.
Thank you.
These are these no-carb cookies too.
No
right?
carbs, yes, of course there are.
Did you already eat yours?
No.
What is he chewing on?
I was missing my
Snorted up my nose.
Stephanie probably needs two.
All right, Chris, it's your show.
Okay, it's our show, okay. We have some bad news with the cookies because Deb is retiring, but she will. So, we're okay with that. She is retiring, so, she did retire. So, but she is still going to do the cookies and everything for our pie socials and things like that. So she's still with us and more than happy to do it. What we, at the museum, we have some, challenges. We are now looking for a new director. And we're trying to find ways to be able to get to the mid-teens. Matt brings in the high school kids and the little kids come in, but we don't have any way to get to those middle ones. And history is a big part of it, and everybody's losing that, and so we need to try to figure out how to get that back. So hopefully with directing, doing different things, maybe we can accomplish something like that. One of the things, and with our membership, is it's an older membership. We're all a little older, and so we, just trying to get the new blood in there is what we need to accomplish. Everything in the museum, when we talk to directors, everything is heavy. It's iron. Everything is, we have stairs every direction. So that's a tough deal to pull off. We're going to do the cemetery tour again. We haven't done that for a couple of years. We do the quarterly newsletters. And if the one little article in there, for the walkie-talkies. That's just kind of things that, at the museum, that if we get, can get more people. The RV park, they come a lot and go through everything there. So we're going to try this year doing an auction. We have example of typewriters. We have numerous typewriters, and no one wants to get rid of them. As they're, people pass, they want to not just dump them, they wanted to, well, how many typewriters do you need? So we're going to look at doing an online type of auction with some of the things that we have numerous items of. So anyway, we appreciate your past funding, we appreciate your maintenance money, we appreciate the lawn care that you do for the museum, and all of that. Anytime that we've asked, you guys have always been there. So I guess we're just asking for the $5,000 that we've always asked for in the past, and anything that we can help you with, or we appreciate everything that you do for us. That's kind of, enjoy your cookies.
And this is kind of on a side note. I haven't seen you, but I'm so sorry. Your dad was such an amazing man, and I'm sorry for your loss. That guy, oh my God, his stories with him. Oh man, he was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Council,
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman, buddy.
I do appreciate that you, all the work that you've done and everything for Mountain Home. And I did take my 185 seniors over 2 days, and both days, at various points in the day, there were folks from out of town or other Mountain Home residents that were so happy to see high school kids in the museum learning about the history of Elmore County. And it's a great place to go. I recommend you go there. It's not a conflict of interest, but I did take your advice, to get younger members of the Mountain Home Historical Society, and so I've recently joined. So I encourage all of us to do it. But they do a great thing there, and it's just a ton of fun over there. There's some really cool things, and when you go in there, if you haven't been in there for a while, you're going to see some names of people that their kids and grandkids are still living here, and you can see their stuff and their uniforms and their telephones and their books. It's a very enlightening way to spend a couple hours.
It is. I mean, you start on one deal, and then pretty soon you start looking at another, and it's just amazing what that person was here and there. It's just all over there. But yeah, we appreciate it.
And thank you guys.
Well,
Thank you guys for volunteering too.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Councilman Brennan.
Has Chief Thompson seen this article?
No, I'm going to get it to him.
We gotta get that hung up in the police department there somewhere.
That was
He's worried.
Yeah,
1966 walkie-talkies.
absolutely.
Bet you can get those on sale now.
Yeah.
Hey, those walkie-talkies will be in the auction there, Chief.
And are you doing another online pie thing, or is it all in person this
We're
year?
going to do an online pipe. That works out much better for all of us.
When does that start?
Well, we haven't, I think we've always done it when it's so hot in August. So we're going to try to do it maybe in September.
Okay.
Something where it's a little cooler. Nobody wants to bake in August.
Yeah.
But we all want to eat pie in August.
All right. We'll run down to budget presentation for Civic Groups number 2, Treasure Valley Transit. Terry, how we doing?
Thank you, Mayor Sykes, members of the City Council. I'm pleased to be here today, talk about my favorite topic, transit. And it definitely comes with the benefits and also the challenges. I have asked for an increase of $4,000. I have not done, it's been the same since 2021. So to talk about some of the challenges, as we all know, fuel increased. It's still up 27%. We too have had hiring challenges. We have two full-time employees who operate the service, and they both retired. One retired in the past, and we had a difficult challenge replacing him. When that happens, we have to send a driver from our Nampa area to Mountain Home to fill any shortfalls, vacations, illness, anything that happens. which we do. We had the second one, who's retiring in July. We were up here yesterday, and we believe we have a very good applicant. So we're very pleased about that. But we also had the challenge, as everybody else, with raising wages, you know, to be more competitive. And that we've done. So I have asked for a small increase as a result of that. And I thought it might be important to talk a little bit about the history of Mountain Home Community Transit, for those who may not know. We started the service in 2005. I was brought in to that discussion by the Air Force Base and the city at the time, because Treasure Valley Transit, we operate under the Idaho Transportation Department. We're a nonprofit, but I'm responsible for a 10-county area. And so when we were approached by the City of Mountain Home and the Air Force Base to put together a service, you know, that's how it began. And it is largely funded through two sources, really, and that is the rural grant funding, which comes with various match ratios. So the program itself is $230,000 a year. The contribution from the city has been $28,500. And so there's quite a return on the investment there. In 2021, we went fare free, because I'll be honest, fares are a minimal amount of funding. It was $3,500 that we received through the city bus. But the challenge for me in the fares is the federal requirements. We have to have two people count them. We have to have a special room. We have to have, you know, there's a lot that goes with it. And we have to come out and empty those fare boxes. It can't be one person, it has to be two. So the administrative cost, and I had explained this prior, was substantial when you consider the amount of funding. But the key point of going fare free is that fares are not considered local match. In other words, when I have the federal funding, it doesn't draw down the federal funds, it just comes off the top. So that $3,500 that was contributed by the city enabled me to use $18,000 in grant funds. That's a big deal for us. And I think sometimes that gets a little complicated, you know, throughout, you know, the process of the funding and the structure and how we operate. I operate Mountain Home Community Transit. We have Mountain Community Transit, which serves McCall, Cascade, Donnelly, that area. We're also implementing New Meadows. That's a new service that's coming. We also have Snake River, which is Ontario Payette with a connection to Ontario, Payette and Fruitland. And then one of our key service areas is Canyon County. And the reason I bring this up is we do non-emergency medical transportation, Medicaid. Medicaid is the loudest match for the grant funds. Idaho is one of two states that does not support public transportation. Oregon does. Our neighbors right next door, they heavily support public transit. The state of Washington does. Idaho does not. This has been a challenge which puts the burden on the cities and the counties. And we continue to try to fight that battle and have not been, you know, successful in doing so. But I wanted to give a little bit of that history and show what the true value that comes from the grant funding. And so I thought I would talk a bit about the ridership. To the Medicaid dollars. When COVID hit, that funding source was subsidized my rural programs, was heavily hit, and it is not recovered. You know, so that's a challenge in funding all my programs. I just wanted to note that to give kind of an overall. But the good news is that right now, you know, ridership, which went down a lot, because I thought I would talk about the 5,000 riders and how it's split up. I took a month, the month of October, because that's a good month, because we also do the Mountain Home School District. So, you know, we had adults, we had 547 passengers that month. We had 120 adults, 24 seniors, 50 youth, you know, rode the bus, and that's attributed to the school district. And it was the month of October, so they were building the advertising. And then what's interesting is we had 60 riders in wheelchairs. And then we had 203 classified as disabled. You know, so we understand that's a heavy part of the ridership here, and that's a big value because those are the passengers who don't have access or accessibility, you know, to services. So I think that's a great value, you know, to the city to provide that service. You know, so with that, I will also open it up to any questions, you know, that you may have, because well, let me do that. Let me open it up to any questions and we can go from there.
Council, you got anything for Terry?
Yeah.
Councilman Brennan?
I was curious, could you tell me just a little bit about how encompassing the routes are? From city out to the Air Force Base, back and out into the county and...
Yes. Currently the route itself from 7 to 9, now we did some changes last year because that's how we incorporated the Mountain Home School District, because one of the challenges we're having is with the funding of the base service. The base operated 6 hours a day and we cut it back to 4. And that enabled us to go to the Mountain Home School District. So right now, the base operates from 6 until, or 7, and I've got it written out. It operates from 7 until 9, and then from 9 until 6 is the city route. Then the base operates from 3 until 5, and then 5 on is the Mountain Home School District. So we do go out to the base 4 hours a day, so that changed. We added an hour to the city route last year when we made these changes, and that gave it a 6-hour window instead of 5. And the good news about that is we've seen a 27% increase in ridership. And we knew that was important because people felt that that additional hour would be really beneficial, and it was. And I want to talk a bit about 2013. In 2013, we had a 12-hour route in the city, and we had a 12-hour route on the base. And we transported 22,000 riders. You know, so that's when you have of the full service. But, you know, funding is always a challenge for us, and we had to scale that back to where it is today, which is a 12-hour, you know, service. So seeing a 27% increase from COVID when it was really challenging, and I do want to say we never stopped service during COVID. We didn't at all. Other systems did. You know, we didn't, because we knew that the passengers needed it, you know, and we were there for them. So as far as the county, Councilor Brennan, we go out to the outskirts. We don't go out into the county. I know that there's county residents who utilize the service that come in. One piece of good news is I applied for a grant. And we do everything by pen and paper. It's really old school, you know, and that has been a challenge for us. But one of the benefits of COVID is there was CARES Act funding that you could apply for. And I did so, and it was for technology. And it's going to be implemented this year. And I'm finally going to be able to have, if you ask me how many people got on at a certain stop, I'll be able to tell you. I'll be able to tell you where they got off. You know, and we'll have automatic passenger counters. It's a large system, but it goes throughout the whole company. And our annual budget company-wide is $3.4 million. The Mountain Home system is 7% of that, but you get the benefit of that. And also, I was able to write for two grants, a planning grant, and a marketing grant, because we don't have a marketing department. We don't have a planning department, so I was successful in getting that. So I'm really optimistic we'll be able to hire a professional to come in company-wide, assess all the services, do those things, and I think that'll be beneficial here. But so will the marketing grant. That's the biggest thing, because the schedules, we do them. We don't have a company that does that. We have to do all of our Facebook posts, our Twitter, and it's all staff related, and I'm sure you all recognize the challenges of wearing many hats. So that's what we do. So that's the good news. So
I'm gonna, Terry Wick, I'm gonna kind of go off Councilman Brennan's coattail. I guess I think our question, or my question is when we talk about county, is obviously we we're paying for county residents. Wasn't the ridership like 50 or 60% of it was all county residents, and then ours was like 30 maybe?
If I remember.
Has it changed now?
I think the route itself is primarily within the city, and that's the county's issue, is the route is within the city. And I have been to Elmer County. It's actually embarrassing.
Are you going to go there again this year to ask for some money? Good.
I am. Every year they turn me down. It's kind of a brutal experience, actually. But,
I'm not laughing at you. I'm not with you.
I'm there. One year they asked for the entire budget of all my service areas. I gave it. Not a dime. And so that is a challenge, and I'm going back on the 14th. And I did want to talk, because I asked about money for a bus, and I almost forgot that. The reason we bought a bus a couple years ago, and that bus is still good. And we've got a backup bus that is getting to its, useful life. The problem is the supply chain. The bus that we bought was $120,000, okay? We just got the quotes on my new 7 buses I was to get in. They're $226,000. I mean, I went from 7 buses to 3 buses. So, and they're over 2 years out. So what I'm looking at, and that's why I said, like, even looking at a $30,000 request, we're talking for a bus that's going to come in 2 years, if we're lucky. So that's not something that I'm asking you to write a check out for this year. Some of my cities are doing it, down the road. We've got the grant, for it. I always put that out there. So you can forget that right now.
Well, hey,
because I don't even have the bus,
well,
to be honest.
We locked in a street sweeper, 3 years ago now? Thank God we blocked it in then, and we don't have it.
Yeah, that was, so I was trying to be proactive, but the bus just went out the window, so.
Okay.
We'll apply for more funding and see what happens and hope the prices come down.
Councilman Brennan?
So I had a few more questions.
Sure.
Your drivers that you hire, are they considered full-time, 40-hour-a-week employees?
Well, they're not 40.
Okay.
The way that the labor laws are, anybody over 30 hours is considered full-time, for benefits.
Okay.
And they are.
Okay. And then where I was going with like the routes, have you had any complaints from your ridership about where the bus stops, or if it doesn't stop close enough to their house, or
Place of employment.
anything like that? What's that?
Place of employment.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge is the time. Because when you operate from 9 to 6, you're missing that employment section in the morning, and that's why the numbers in 2013, I brought them up, where we were doing 13,000, because you had the commuters. You had those going to work. And we don't, have that. So those are more of the challenges. So the clientele that we're primarily seeing are seniors, and the disabled population, I want to say, that covers seniors too. But I think that's the biggest challenge. And the question I wanted to ask as well is if there is a casino in the future, that might help us expand the service here. You know, I've seen a lot of them on the news and stuff like that, and I know that's quite down the road.
It's on Facebook, it's gotta be true.
So,
You mentioned you wouldn't be able to, like, you don't have the data as to where you're picking everybody up and where you're dropping them off, but would you be able to guesstimate how many of the riders are getting rides to the medical facilities?
I would be able to ask the drivers, because they're gonna know. They know, and you mentioned a bit about, I wanted to talk about the stops. One of the things that we do here is we answer the phones for Mountain Home Community Transit for the whole 12 hours, because we're route deviation. When you don't have paratransit, in other words, to pick up the disabled and to take them to the fixed route, you have to have route deviation. And what that means is they can call up and say, that it's within 3/4 of a mile. And the hard thing is it's open to everybody, so it can be abused and cause, some delays. Because, everybody would like to be picked up at their house. So we did have some challenges with several people, but that kind of ebbs and flows right now. We're doing good with that.
And one more question. I might direct it towards Councilwoman Garvey, based on your other hat you wear. Is an entity such as St. Luke's able to donate to something like this, or is that outside of legalities for them? Have you ever asked?
Oh, I can talk about that. The City of New Meadows, we just recently set up a pilot program, very similar to how we started here. The City of New Meadows needed to have funding partners. And the issue that New Meadows had was they were sending EMTs to deliver pharmacy prescriptions to the rural residents of New Meadows, 642 population. So that's why they came to us and said, we want a 2-day-a-week service. We've got to allow people to get into the services in McCall for the pharmacies, for the medical. And St. Luke's came up with, $3,600 for the 2-day-a-week service just from June through the end of August to see how the success is. It's run for 6 days right now, and, we're seeing an average of 10 to 15 people. And again, it's not the commuters, it's the people needing to get there for services. We do have that route designed for the morning, midday, and afternoon. So, talking about route design, that's something we can always look at, and that's where I'm hoping with the planning funding, because we can do different things here if it would be more beneficial. My biggest concern, in all honesty, is we're not seeing the funding that we used to through the Department of Defense base passes. That's why we had to cut it way back. And now it's being heavily funded by us through those Medicaid dollars, as you saw in the profit and loss. When we are short $26,000, we still have to pay the bills. And that's where it comes from. So, yes, if we had the staff, St. Luke's approached us when it came to the New Meadows service, because the city had approached them. So it's something that we definitely welcome all forms.
If I may, Terry,
Yes.
do you know where that funding source came from? Was it the foundation board? Was it St. Luke's?
I think it's St. Luke's.
It's a taxing district as well, so.
Right, and the taxing district is what heavily funds the transportation up there. For New Meadows, because it was outside of that.
So it was the taxing district that did that funding, not the foundation board
No,
or St. Luke's?
you mean St. Luke's taxing?
Do you know how that $3,600 was paid? What department, what entity did it come from?
I
from
can
St.
get,
Luke's?
I have the invoice, because when I talked to St. Luke's about that, they gave me all these codes. So I think it was probably through a foundation, I'm assuming, but I could clarify that for you.
Sure. If you'd like to, since we're talking about it, if you'd like to, I can give you my number and we can discuss it afterwards, and you can bring it
Yes.
to St. Luke's.
I'd love to get the answer to that
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And I'm sitting here brainstorming, like, I feel like there could be some easy donors out there to help this program, and asking for it's not always easy, I understand that, but I think of like St. Luke's or Desert Sage, even one of the, it's like I'm donating somebody else's money, right? But, like the credit unions or whatever, they're always like really eager to participate in the community, and this is such a big program. I had a conversation once with one of the commissioners. You're going to get denied again, I can guarantee it, unless you have a route that takes you through Hammett and Glass Ferry and back.
Exactly.
So,
and we don't, and the federal funding isn't available to do that. But to your question about the credit union, we were able in the city of Fruitland to get, we had Malheur County Credit Union. They wrapped the bus. Well, then they're no longer around. So we went around, and through a contact, somebody said, approach Farmers Mutual Telephone Company. And we did. And this was huge for us because this happened last year, and we got $15,000 a year for 3 years on a contract for that. You know, so if you have any helpful hints on, you know, community banks or anything that we could go to, that's another avenue, because that helped us.
Betsy maybe can have some resources, I don't know.
We'll ask.
But I appreciate it, and you know, if you'll follow up with that other information, and next year, if you'll show us who all you've asked money for, maybe that'd help me.
Yeah, it's hard to do when you don't have a department to do it, but you know, but we'll do the best we can. That's why I'm hoping with the marketing grant I got, we might be able to hire somebody who could help us, you know, with that, going out into a community, somebody who has that experience. If you knew any contacts of that here, you could let me know that too. We'll go forward.
All right, Terry.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor,
you.
members of the council.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Budget presentation, civic groups. Let's go to senior citizens, and then also Meals on Wheels with Lisa. And you're not coming down, right? He's gonna say.
Hi.
I get two of you guys in one night.
That should be enough.
Hello, everybody. I'm reading because I'm very embarrassed. Okay. I'm Lisa, the business manager. This is Larry, the board of director. And first, I'd like to say thank you for everything you do for us, because you do a lot. I couldn't even imagine doing all that. I'd like to know I'm going to stay with the same as I do every year, $5,000 each. I'm not going up. We have been increasing our numbers in the food service. So in our meals, we've served over 29,000 meals in 2022, and 22,500 were Meals on Wheels. The rest were congregate in-house meals. Our senior center has been struggling on our activities, and usually I know the Parks and Rec has been coming a couple days a month, but that's about all we have coming in. And I'm really wanting to concentrate on that this year, because getting them out of their homes and active and social is really good for them. And what else did I have here? See, I'm already choking.
Yeah, you're good. You're off.
No, I'm choking. Okay.
Good.
We do have a bus ordered. I got a transportation grant for it. And it's supposed to come in 2024.
With our sweeper.
They're on the same truck. Well, it's because of the frame to it they have a hard time getting for some reason. Our bus service, we're doing about 800 rides a month. I know it seems like a lot, but it's to and from the center for meals, and when we do get our bus, we're planning on starting medical transportation. I'm not sure if I'll go through Medicaid though, because that's a lot of work for Medicaid. And currently they're having this silly little share of costs that they're putting on seniors, long-term care. that we have to bill them for their services for the food, and I won't bill them because how can you bill them? If they're on Medicaid, you can't even afford it. So that's I barely get Medicaid money right now, so we're working on it. Does anybody have any questions?
Council, no? Look at that, easy peasy.
I'm still shaking.
And you're all invited to come eat,
Yes, come have lunch.
and they're very good food.
We too have had staffing problems. I had to raise my rate too. But you do what you gotta do.
Yeah, they need fed. Yeah.
Well, thanks for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
All right, see, look at that.
Easy out.
Easy.
Yeah, told you it wouldn't be that bad.
I gotta do it every year now. Oh, by the way, Connie was gonna be there, but her husband's in the hospital. He's not doing too good.
Oh, no.
They both got the COVID.
Gosh.
Yeah. I'm sure you miss her.
I do, I love her.
Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, would anybody like to get up and speak? All right. Sir, come on down.
Is that Conley? Are you talking Conley Cruiser?
Is this
Yes,
for,
Conley's in the hospital.
I have several things. Last time you mentioned about the gentleman that had the problem paying his water bill.
Can you state your name for the record?
Oh, Bud Adams.
Okay, thank you.
Remember that?
Yes, sir.
What about a project share, like Intermountain Gas does, in Idaho Power?
Okay.
Is that possible?
Anything is possible. Let me, project share. Okay.
Like the flyers out, like, Intermountain Gas and Idaho Power does.
Mm-hmm.
And second, a lot of people are asking me questions, and this is for you, Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
What's with the swimming pool, and why hasn't anything been done? Where am I in the dark on it? Is there a projection?
Mm-hmm.
And people are saying, no swimming pool, but yet you're talking about an ice skating rink. And so help us out here. What's going on?
Okay. Oh, you want me to speak about it now? This is for you.
And then also the caboose.
Okay.
I get around a lot. I don't know if it's because I've spoke out about the fiber, but people are always asking me questions. What about this?
Okay.
So there you go. 3 questions.
Okay. Pool, projected completion date, I'm gonna say hopefully November, December. Am I close?
Yes, we've ordered the steel plates. They're being custom fitted now, and then they'll be shipped back. So
This year or next year?
Well, I hope they're here this year. We've already sent the checks. So, and then once they're en route back to here, they're supposed to be on site by the middle of September to start moving dirt and working on it.
Perfect.
You'll probably see city staff out there doing some compaction here shortly. The goal is to have it completed by the end of the year. It may look, depending on the winter, it may delay some of the work, but our goal is to operate it by May of 2024.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. Caboose, I had put out a video on Facebook, social media. I made a statement here. The caboose isn't going anywhere. It's staying.
So why was it moved?
We wanted that to be the focal point. As you drive in, you see it. And then we want to be able to have a kind of closer, better access to it. All right, what was the last one? Fiber.
Okay, let's go back to the caboose. So you're moving the caboose.
I'm not getting into question and answer. It's for you to come out and make a comment, and then I'm here all the time.
All right.
8-5.
URA skate, the ice rink was this.
Right, there's no, this is the, what it is for the Railroad Park project. It's a possibility of an ice skating rink. It was supposed to be ice skating rink and a splash pad all in one. Obviously now they've gone to more of a one splash pad. Ice skating rink could possibly be put in down the road, but for right now, it looks like it's going to be a destination splash pad. 3 was the fiber.
No.
No, he just said,
I said,
ask about
Oh, okay.
I said the reason people come to me because they're always asking me about the fiber.
Right.
And then they ask me about all this other stuff.
Okay.
So the fibers.
All right, good.
You could tell me how many people have signed up though.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Off the top of my head.
Last time that I checked,
Oh, shoot,
6
somebody
weeks
had-
ago, it was 29.
29 people? That are active.
Active, yeah.
No, it should be at least 40 active on the service currently.
I don't like to shoot from the hip.
Right, yeah, touche. You know what, let me do this. What is your, well, we won't do it, so I don't get your cell number, but once we get down here, I'm gonna get your cell number, I'll give you a call, and I'll give you every single answer you ever want.
All right.
Okay? All right.
Okay.
All right, my friend.
You guys have any questions for me?
Oh, sir.
Okay.
Karen's carrot cake was delicious. There we go. There's
There
my
you go.
question.
Would anybody else like to get out?
For my.
All right. Final comments from me. Bono Award was neat. We got to go to Ball Venture All Quest building. What was the third floor? I know Mayor Gazim was super proud of his building, taking that award. What did he spend? Over $3 million?
A little over $2 million.
Yeah, $2 million. That's what it was. And I think going large part was downtown. He thought that was a great addition to the downtown corridor as well. And then Tiffany, what did city win an award for?
Association of Idaho Cities, we put in an application for Tiger Kindness Week and we were awarded.
So we're gonna have to get a bigger stand. We're gonna continue to keep winning awards, huh, Tiff?
Yeah.
I think this is what, fourth year in a row, fifth year in a row?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna strive for the individual ones next year. Don't want to be in group stage anymore.
It was between her and Brock, and she got him.
It was a lot of fun. Some representatives of the school district went as well because we partnered with them. So it was really nice to. Yeah, it was a lot of fun that week to shed some happiness in our community.
I had the opportunity to go out to Daniel Dobbs Rodeo Saturday. I want to send a huge shout out to all the police officers, sheriff's department. I even think you were there. You were there. I see you decided being out there, making that community event so special. They said it was the largest they've ever had. It was packed. It looks like that place needs more bleachers. I don't know if you got to rent them or what do we got to do, but it was packed. It was a great event. I know Ramona always gets deeply touched because it's a special event for her, but for the city, it was cool. It was awesome. So that's all I have.
I have a quick question. Was there a light flight night of the rodeo on Saturday night? I heard through the grapevine that there was a light flight issue at the rodeo.
Not that I know of, sir. Okay. Council, you got anything?
Yeah.
Councilman Brennan?
What was the time for the ribbon cutting for the
That's August 2nd at 11 a.m.
11 a.m. Okay. And any other big shout outs for the fireworks show and display? Any new information or status quo?
I'm not sure, what are you asking?
I know we talked about it advertising on 104.3, but anything important for the people to know for like times and locations or anything like that? Like when's it projected to start? And
So Betsy has had, our city website will have that information as well as the fireworks, fire department Facebook page. But the actual lighting of the fireworks will start at about 10:40 p.m. is typically when we get the right lighting for that. That'll go off. We anticipate the show to last approximately 20 minutes. We anticipate it to be a really good show. They've done some crafty things with the arrangement to make up for a shortage of things. So this may be something that we'll be looking for in the future, given the doubling of cost for fireworks and stuff that we've discussed before. So we're being creative and working with what we've got. So anticipate a really good show. The temperatures are going to be in the hundreds. We're dressed for that. It should be a good time.
the streetwalkers are pushing hard this year, and they're really doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Streetwalkers are amazing. They'll be joining us there on hole 7 as well this year. But yeah, they've kind of rebooted and took a look at doing some different things for fundraising, and have been really working hard, and it's showing with their funding balance.
So hole 7, golf course, 1040.
July 4th.
Did it? All right, anything else?